Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So as a fish keeper, you always want the best thing for your fish. And sometimes you want to feed them more than just one thing. So I always recommend feeding multiple foods. For example, I have tons and tons and tons of different foods. Tons of different dried foods like tropical granules, tropical flakes, cichlid flakes, mealworms, krill, pellets, everything. There's tons of different things. But I always want the best for my fish. So there are special diets for some special fish. So today I am going to be showing you feeding fruits and vegetables. Today I just have some lettuce, and this works really well. So I'm going to feed these to my snails as well as Jeff, because they seem to love them. Also, this works well for plecos, snails, shrimp, and even some fish will go after it. And Jeff goes after it, so that's super cool. So I'm going to show you how to feed these guys, and it's going to be super fun. So, you're watching The Fish Bowl. Alright guys, before we get going, I would like to shout out a couple people for getting the question right on last video. I had a really difficult question and I never revealed the answer. But it was my 643 shirt equals 2. And many people in my school at least are like, dude, your shirt does not make sense. But to those who know it, that was really cool. I'm a huge baseball fan, and in baseball, each position is numbered. And in this case, 6 is shortstop, 4 is second base, and 3 is first base. So 6-4-3 is a double play, which equals 2 outs. So that's really fun. I would like to congratulate Seth Huxford, MK Films, and Pittsford Pets. So congratulations to all 3 of you. That was really super cool to see all the baseball fans out there. So let's get right into it. At Just 40-gallon aquarium. He seems to really like it, as well as the green terror and even occasionally the carbensis. I just did a fishy facts on the carbensis, so if you haven't checked that out, it would be right here. So check that out. That was a really fun video to make. But they all seem to really like it, and let's just put it in. I set it, instead of floating this, I would set it like, so it's like pinched up against the top, so only about 3 inches, 4 inches actually goes into the water. It seems like Jeff only likes this greenery. He doesn't really like the stalks part, so that's what I give it to him, and he seems to really like it. So let's do that now. Alright, so as I just said, this whole tank seems to go after it a little bit, but what I think is the best benefit of feeding this sort of food is to feed it to snails. Snails go absolutely insane for it. I guess snails just like all kinds of food, but it seems like they really like this. Also, when I feed like other sorts of foods, when it sits on the bottom, it seems to make my tank smell as well as the whole room. So that's not great. So whenever I feed this sort of food, or cucumbers, or any of that sort of thing, it doesn't really smell as bad, so that's really a definite positive. So let's do that, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so before we move on to the next tank, let's talk about some good, suitable fruits and vegetables that you can feed your fish, and as well as the benefits of that. So I just have a list on my phone. Some good fruits and vegetables include broccoli, cauliflower, bok choy, zucchini, green peppers, wild vegetables, cucumbers, and lettuce. I think all of these work really well. I've fed out a couple of these, and I think lettuce works the best just because it's easy to get a hold of. My family always has some around, and it's really easy to feed the fish. This makes it really easy just to drop it in the tank, attach it with some forks, and it's super easy and fast. As you can see, all the fish seem to like it. Even the green taro, which he's just going after it right now. Right there. So that's really cool. So it seems like everyone seems to like it. Also, it's really good to mix up diets. Imagine just eating the same thing every day for the rest of your life. That does not seem very enjoyable. So I like to treat my fish like pets and feed them a good diet. And especially for Jeff, who's now over here, but you can't see him. But there's a thing called pyramiding. If you feed them too much protein, they will grow too fast for their shell, and their shell would kind of form together and like point up. That's called pyramiding. That is an irreversible disease, I guess it's called, but it's irreversible, and it's really not good for the turtle at all. It will shorten its life, so that's not good. So you always want to keep the proteins low for turtles, and I think feeding lettuce is really good. Also for African cichlids and most cichlids in general, if you feed too much protein, they can get bloat. So you definitely want to keep the protein low and keep feeding those fruits and vegetables. And now for snails, I find it's best just because it makes the room not smell. When I feed goldfish pellets, that's something that sinks to the bottom, it always seems like it ends up smelling. So I don't like that, and my family doesn't like that. So I feed a lot of these cucumbers, a lot of the zucchini, a lot of lettuce, and I've done broccoli too before, and they all seem to work out really well. So I really like this option, and I highly recommend it. Let's move on to the next tank. So to feed these snails, I need to get this lettuce all the way to the bottom. However, the issue is lettuce floats, as well as most fruits and vegetables. You could blanch them, which makes it sink, which takes out a lot of the water. I think that's what it does. But basically it's boiling it and then like cooling it off really fast. That does work, and I'm not saying that's bad or anything, but I just don't really have time for that. I think it's easier just to take some forks. So I have two just not junky but not great forks here, and I'll just stab it through the lettuce and then drop it in the tank, and then the fork will pull the lettuce all the way down to the bottom. Let's do that one more time. So now the lettuce is on the bottom, and over time you'll just see a huge herd, just tons and tons and tons of snails coming out of here. So that's really cool. The lettuce has only been in for around a minute, and as you can see, already a bunch of snails are coming onto it. And just an insane amount get on it once they realize it's in the tank. So that's really fun. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I really like feeding this to my tanks, and I highly recommend it. It's really good, and I think it improves the life of all living things. So definitely recommend it. But thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, remember hit that like button. And if you really loved it, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. I hope everyone has an amazing day, and as always, you've been watching The Fish Bowl.